Coach, on his first season of the Tiffin University staff is Dave Bucar. Dave, how are you doing, sir? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for joining us here on the Tiffin University Gary Goff Coaches Show program. Your first season here at Tiffin University. Why don't you first of all tell us, as Coach Schweitzer did, tell us a little bit about your playing days and how you got into coaching and what's led you up to this point today.
Well, it's I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I went to Washington Jefferson College, which is a Division III school, about a half hour south of Pittsburgh. And, I kind of always knew I wanted to coach. Football has been a huge part of life, obviously, growing up and being from Pittsburgh. It's a big part of the area, big part of life in that city, most definitely. But, after I graduated, I started, working some camps and, University of Pittsburgh. I worked some football camps there, and I ended up getting hired by University of Pittsburgh to work in operations and recruiting for a year, which was great, and learned the ropes there and kind of worked my way up the ladder. I got lucky. I really got lucky being there and working for some great guys, and I'm excited to be here now.
Yeah, he was there during the stint when I think they went through 3 or 4 head coaches in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was different. It was definitely different. It was got to meet a lot of people, which was great. Worked for a lot of different types of coaches, guys from different backgrounds. It was this past season worked with Jim Huber. Two years ago, I was able to work with Tony Wise on the offensive line, and 2 great coaches. Learned a lot from them. And Dave Wanstead, Paul Christ. Can't say enough about those guys. Good guys to work for and come up in the business, and good guys to get your start under, I should say.
How'd you end up at Tiffin?
Well, it's funny. He
doesn't know.
Yeah. We're trying to backtrack this and get it figured out.
Well, they had made contact with Jim Huber, who's the offensive line coach there right now, and I came out for an interview. It was like Glenn had said. It was right before Christmas break started, and came out and interviewed. Had a great day here. Spent the day with Coach Goff, Coach Durr, saw all the facilities, got to talk some ball. And the next day he called up and said, "Hey, I'm offering you the job," and I took it. So
Wow.
it was pretty fast and it was pretty simple,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He not only took it, I had to talk him into going to the bowl game, because Pitt played Ole Miss. And he said, "Coach, I'm not going to." I was like, "You go to the bowl game." I said, "We're fixing to go into Christmas break. Don't worry about that. Go enjoy the bowl game, and I don't want you to shorthand, the coaching staff there at Pitt." So,
Absolutely.
I didn't have to twist his arm too hard, but still I had to talk him into it.
What was it about Coach Bucar, Coach Goff, that made you want to put him on your staff?
Kind of funny. You said something about it's all about networking a while ago. Well, Jim Huber, the offensive line coach there at Pitt, we've got a mutual friend. And, Jim was offensive line coach at Wisconsin, I believe, for 10 years. Mm-hmm. He was in the NFL for quite some time. Tony Weiss is a longtime NFL offensive line coach who, Dave also worked under as well. Well, I called, my mutual friend called Huber and said, "Hey, do you have anybody you want to recommend?" And he said, "I don't believe in recommending. I don't do that. I've coached for, whatever it was, 20, 30 years, and I just don't recommend people. However, the one person I would recommend is Dave Bucar." Huh. And so I got on the phone, called Jim Huber, and he ranted and raved about him. He said, "Coach, just interview him." He goes, you might not want to hire him, but just interview him. And, Dave came on campus, and I tell you what, he hit it out of the park. I mean, very organized, can communicate, is hungry. I mean, football's his life. He means that. I mean, we make fun of him here in the office because he won't leave his office to even come down and say hello because he's upstairs doing football. When we move over to the new facility, his office is right beside mine, so he can't hide from me.
Bang on the walls. Get over here.
Exactly. No, but he's football 24/7, and he brings a lot, to our offensive play as far as run technique and stuff like that I need help with. And, he's highly recommended from some, 2 great football coaches.
So what was it about Coach Goff's staff and what you saw here at Tiffin University made you think, hey, that's where I need to be?
Well, you know what? First of all, I felt like I hit it off with the staff right away. I walked in the door. Coach was as hospitable as could be. Like I said, spent the day with him and Coach Durr, had a great time. And it all wasn't football, you know what I mean? There was more to it than that. Just, had lunch together, just able to talk about everything. Coach Josh Eisen, who's here, and knew him previously.
Oh, okay.
A little bit from before, not real well, but had met Josh a few times and was able to talk to him a few times, and the campus is great, the facilities are great. This is my roots. Like I said, I'm a Division III football guy, man. This is a step up from Division III football. I'm used to the small college atmosphere and the campus and the class sizes with 20, 25 students in them. That's what I like. That's what I feed off of. I like the close personal relationship with the players. I like being able to walk around campus and see my players out there walking around campus and being able to talk to them and approach them. And, everything about it is just very fitting for me.
I think it goes across the board with the Division II athletics as well. I really enjoy the Division II part of it. It's, for the most part, the smaller campuses, more of a community feel, in touch with the local community and things, which is very similar to the Division III level as well.
It's important. Right. It's absolutely important.
How familiar with you with the GLIAC conference were you before you came into town?
You know what? I was familiar with it. I had to do a little bit of research, but I knew it was a great conference. I knew that it was the best conference in Division II football, and that's really all I needed.
We see it every Saturday, don't we, Coach?
There's a few teams Pitt might not want to line up against.
No way. Not at all. Not at all.
No, Dave's a good fit for us all around, and excited to have him and Glenn. I think we did a great job on finding two guys that fit to the direction we're trying to take the program. I think both of them care about the student athlete, care about their position, and already in just this short 4 weeks that we've been back on campus with our players, I think both of them have really connected with their position and their players.
So you're coaching the offensive line?
Coaching the offensive line.
Well, you had last year was a rough first couple of games of the offensive line with the injuries. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen anything, Coach. We talked about that Michigan Tech game last year. Never seen anything like that with the rash of injuries. Started with the tight end and then worked its way through the offensive line in that game.
We had 3 torn knees in the first half. On one side of the ball.
But on the flip side of that, there's some freshmen who got a lot of playing time on this offensive line last year, and that offensive line really became a very good cohesive unit towards the end of the season. I'm sure you may have seen. I watched some of the film from last year.
Yes.
And you got to be pretty excited to work with all these young men because there's some talent there to work with next year.
Without a doubt. I'm fired up as could be. Guys like Max Paulum and Marcello Brown, I'm fired up about both of them. I'm fired up about all the guys. Everybody's working their butt off right now in the weight room, running workouts. Guys are doing what they got to do. They're hungry to get better. They're hungry to win here. They're hungry to be coached hard. And, the thing I keep saying with the offensive lineman is the word I keep using is toughness.
Absolutely.
Toughness. Everything we do has got to be done with toughness.
Set the tone.
Absolutely. No doubt about it, especially in that position. And they're feeding off of it. And they're ready to go.
As we saw in this conference, they're going against some grown men on the defensive front. I mean, schools like Ohio Dominican last year, that defensive front they had. Ashland had a young man leave early to go to the draft. So
I hope he did. I don't know if he did yet, but I hope he did.
That was the talk. That was the talk, at least. So they're going against some proven players.
Well, and to put a little bit more pressure on Dave right here is, the one guy that we always forget about right there in the middle, who is really the anchor and the quarterback of that entire offensive line, is Dustin Craig.
Yeah.
Here's a young man that started every game. He started 22 straight games here, and now he's going to be a junior. Well, we get back Gage Gorman on one side of him, and then our other senior in Bobby Gay. So, we got those two young guys on the outside, but we're going to be very experienced on the inside. Yeah. And, so that should be our strongest point of the team, to be honest with you.
When I look at Coach, I think the same thing. I absolutely do. You got a lot of depth at the wide receiver position. You brought in some more this year with your recruiting class, but the offensive line with the experience those young kids got last year is just going to pay huge dividends, not only this year, but in a couple years to come as well.
No doubt.
Coach Bucar, thank you so much for joining us here on the Gary Goff Show. I appreciate you taking time out for us, and welcome to the Tiffin University campus, Tiffin University family, and can't wait to work with you over the next few years. And I'm sure you got a list of things you want to do before fall gets here, and make sure your kids are ready. So thank you so much for making time for us, and appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Coach Dave Bucar, members here on the Tiffin University coaching staff. Coach.